Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pool here,
And I'm Senex.
and we are bringing you an awesome game of StarCraft 2. Today's match is going to be a 6 mineral, 1 high yield gas match. Of course, FRB, the only way to play StarCraft 2. No, of course not. But definitely our focus for now, as we are doing an FRB tournament. If you guys haven't heard about that, you should definitely check it out. How are you doing today, Senex?
I am doing quite well. I'm extremely excited about the FRB tournament that is coming up. For those who've not been keeping track, what started out as just a small community-oriented event has exploded into a $150 prize pool with players like IS Axlav, Complexity Gonzi, Startail Rainbow, and even Vile Illusion showing up to take part.
Yeah, most definitely we're seeing some incredibly high-profile players, and they're actually playing for some pretty decent stakes. We do have a $150 prize pool right now, so that should be very interesting to see how they duke it out on these, unfamiliar type of games. So, as you can see here, our players are Complexity's coLgoswser. I believe that is how you say it, right?
Yeah, it's even though there's a W there, it's supposed to be two
Yeah.
W's. So anybody who knows how it's pronounced, forgive us if we occasionally call him Gowser. That's
Yeah,
not what it is. It's coLgoswser, but
yeah, there was a person on the FRB chat channel, and they were like, "So who's COL Gowser or coLgoswser?" And the other guy was like, "It's Bowser's StarCraft 2 account." And he's like, "Oh," I was just like, I totally get where you would say that, but it is coLgoswser for those of you who could possibly be getting it confused. And our Protoss player spawning at the bottom left position is iPAndi. Now, I've actually not heard anything about Andy. Do you know anything about him?
I actually don't know very much about iPAndi, though I do know that these games were recommended, and so I believe that he is definitely a player on the same level as Complexity coLgoswser, and Complexity coLgoswser is a quite skilled Zerg
Oh
player.
yeah,
So I'm
most
really
definitely.
interested in seeing how these two players are going to just approach this map, and we do actually see some pretty standard openings right now. It looks like there's just the pool into expand, though not at the natural because a pylon was thrown down there, and a forge fast expand for the Protoss player.
Yeah, our Protoss player doing a great job of denying that expansion, of course. It's not too hard to get that third there. It's a little bit obviously farther from your main base and the ramp that would be normally leading down to your natural, so not quite as easy to defend, but at the same time not too risky to go ahead and take that one. Now we do see our Protoss player, of course, getting his cannon up along with that forge that's already complete and a gateway to be finishing off that wall. No doubt he will place his zealot there to finish off that choke.
Yeah, for those who are unfamiliar with the map, this is actually Crosspoint by Baron, and those who have been kind of keeping some track of the FRB community will know that Crosspoint hasn't always looked like this. It used to be a desert tile map with kind of like wider chokes at the naturals and a couple of other things, but it has since been updated and is now generally more like balanced and kind of accepted by the community.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, is this Crosspoint or is this Devolution?
Oh wow, I totally said Crosspoint. That's my bad. This is Devolution.
Okay,
So
you got me confused there. Yeah, it's Devolution, of course, no problem. It's like so hard to keep up with all the map names, like there's just so many different ones, especially when we're doing brand new ones, so no sweat it there, buddy.
that has definitely been one of the coolest things about FRB is that the map making community has really gotten behind
Yeah.
it. You can find on Team Liquid in the custom map section like 4 or 5 different maps just kind of like in the top 15 or so at any given time that are all FRB.
Yeah, it's super cool just to see how the Team Liquid community has backed the FRB idea up, backed Baron up with all of this. It's just so exciting, and even in the chat channels I saw earlier, just how players were like, "Wow, people observing StarCraft 2 games? When does this happen?" It's just so cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you want to talk a little bit about like the builds and stuff going on here?
Well, what I'm definitely interested in is the fact that coLgoswser has not taken down that pylon at his natural. Ordinarily, taking a third base is a pretty common response to your opponent going for a forge fast expand, unless you're going for some kind of all-in. And we do see the Baneling nest on the way, so he might be going for some early aggression. And look at that, 16 Zerglings on the way, so it does look as though he wants to punish this instead of trying to out-macro his opponent. And actually, iPAndi placing a cannon down, which is perhaps not the wisest decision at the natural. He just loses it, doesn't even get the cancel, because obviously there's a whole bunch of Zerglings to take that out, but it does give him some good scouting information. He saw there's a lot of Zerglings on the way.
Yeah, so iPAndi is going to know that something is going on, and as you can see there, dropping down another cannon to help defend against whatever possible rush or bust that could be coming up here. And does he know that there's a baneling nest? Yeah, he does know that there's actually a baneling nest, or at least knew that there was one being produced. So these banelings are morphing in. Oh my god, that is a ton of banelings right there for coLgoswser. This could actually be really risky for our Protoss player, or dangerous, I mean.
I'm almost worried that it's too many banelings though, because there's almost no zerglings to back it up anymore. When we look at it, there's only actually 5 zerglings. So ordinarily you just use the banelings to break down the wall, and it looks like that is exactly what he's going for. Marching right in, one very nice force field to block that small choke, and a second one actually that very, very neatly segments that nice number of banelings, though there is a small hole that coLgoswser could push through.
Yeah, and it does look like coLgoswser here is going to go in and take out one cannon. And actually, he's going to end up moving his banelings along the side there to try to go for some probes. Won't be able to get those probes, though.
Yeah, he was able to kill a pretty good number of sentries right there. As we look at the units tab, there's only one zealot, and actually, now that we see that baneling explosion, no sentries. The warp gates are done, and 3 more sentries were just warped in, and iPAndi very calmly walling himself back off and trying to defend against the next stage of this attack.
Yeah, iPAndi doing a great job with his force fields, doing, you know, basically, as we were talking about this kind of bust, like, it comes down to how well your force fields are. If you can get good force fields and keep your wall up with those fields, and before you get your buildings back up, you can basically hold it off relatively easily. So this is obviously a test of the calmness of our Protoss player and his focus when it comes to those force fields.
I'm actually really starting to get afraid for coLgoswser right now. That's a very good number of sentries, and he is obviously watching the front door like a hawk, consistently placing very nice force fields, losing 1 pylon in that last attack, but really nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, Protoss is just doing such a good job, and there you see even more force fields protecting his buildings. And I mean, coLgoswser here, you know, he's just basically wasting a lot of resources. He needs to do some actual damage. The thing is, he's only done damage to buildings. He hasn't really hurt the economy too badly of our Protoss player.
Yeah, I do think that right now his best use of these banelings would definitely be to try to just break that warp gate down that he has been attacking, though actually taking forwards is also another good option, because he needs to continue widening the space that he has available to get in with that. Though I'm not quite sure how much he wants to continue this all in. That's a very large number of banelings that are being morphed in right now, though it is right now 22 zerglings and up to now 17 banelings against 9 sentries and 1 zealot.
Yeah, and that gateway does go down. It does look like more force fields, though. Excellent force fields, actually, from our Protoss player there. Just managing to hold off. However, there are even more banelings, and this could be it for coLgoswser. This could be what manages to take out his Protoss opponent, but we'll have to see how his micro is. He just really doesn't have many zerglings or, obviously, anything to support these bans.
Yeah, sending in those 3 banelings was a little bit of a waste, though. Now the force fields are starting to fail a little bit, and there are some very, very good detonations. The sentries are light units, so getting banelings in contact with them does deal a lot of damage. However, with some nice, almost marine-style splitting of the sentries, he was able to get most of them out of the way of the sentry, or well, he lost most of them, but he got a couple out of the way of the sentries. And so right now, it's literally 47 probes against all the attacking units of coLgoswser.
Yeah, coLgoswser doing a great job, finally managing to get into the main base of his Protoss opponent, and gonna go for some probes, hopefully be able to kill some, but it's just not looking too well for him. Probes obviously are just, you know, able to stack up there, but there is 1 zealot in the natural to defend against these zerglings, and coLgoswser just trying to decide where he needs to go. Decides that he's going to run back to his reinforcements, but there are a ton of zerglings in here. Wow, really good job there by coLgoswser continuing this aggression.
Yeah, that 1 photon cannon in the natural and the 1 in the main is going to be critical. Wow, morphing in an absolutely enormous number of banelings. As we look at the production tab right now, we have 23 banelings on the way, and he just has them rallied straight into his opponent's natural base, though. Actually, can he just kill the Nexus with that many banelings?
Oh, I definitely think he could, but I don't know, would it be better for him to go for the probes? I think he's just kind of trying to decide what he wants to go for here.
Yeah, I think he needed to pick one or the other because he really wasn't able to get any probes. All that he killed with all of those baneling detonations was the photon cannon.
Yeah, so it does look like we have some zerglings basically being forced to retreat down at the third base. And whoa, really, really good detonations there, killing a lot of probes, I think, or maybe they didn't kill anything. I'm not sure. Everything just disappeared so quickly.
When we look at the unit tab, we see that he's killed 9 total. I'm sorry, the units killed tab. He's killed 9 total workers so far. However, iPAndi has killed 80 units overall, and so as we look at the supply, he's slowly starting to come out on top in this attack. And actually, yeah, coLgoswser was forced to GG. His consistent all-in was not quite able to break the defense of his opponent.
Well, that's the thing. He just spent so many minerals and, of course, gas with those banelings. There's a third base up for our Protoss player, so you know. There's no way that a 2-base Zerg attack is going to take out a Protoss on 3 bases at this point in the game, you know. So late in the game, it's just not going to happen. Alright, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in to this one. This has been Pull. It's been a pleasure. Anything you'd like to say, Senex?
I just want to encourage everybody to watch the FRB Grand Tournament. If you're looking for more information on it, you can look up FRB Grand Tourney on Twitter. We are, it's all one word, and we're consistently updating things on that. And if you check out the FRB Grand Tournament thread on Team Liquid, we just posted the brackets. So anybody who's interested in seeing all the players who have been invited and who their opponents for the round of 16, which will be broadcasted on Friday, April 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern, can check that out and see just what's upcoming in the event.
Alright, guys, be sure to check out Senex's channel as well on YouTube at youtube.com/wiseoldsenex. He's a great caster, and thanks for tuning into this game.
Well, and actually, it just wouldn't be fair to end it quite there, because Pull also has a YouTube channel of his own. Check out www.youtube.com/PullSC, and also check out twitch.tv/PullSC. That's not only where Pull is broadcasting and showing like ladder games, other things like that. It's also where the FRB Grand Tournament will be broadcasted. So, hope to see you guys there.
Alright, see you guys later.